Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the stream. It's me, ShellshockPrime, and we're going to do two different things tonight. First and foremost, we're going to do the Nintendo Switch send-off, thanks for the memories, PAX East Panel watch-along. It's a premiere. I'm going to be joined with Silverstone Condor, 112, Rick from the D-Pad, and Azran127. After that is going to be Mario Party Madness, but except we're doing Mario Kart DS Netplay. If that doesn't work out, we're going to do Mario Party 7 as a plan B. But that's what's on the agenda for tonight. We're going to be off tomorrow and Wednesday because of the Switch 2 launch. Thursday is the big launch stream. We're going to, that's the day of the launch. But Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm going to wait outside Nintendo New York. Friday, we're going to do Summer Game Fest live reactions and play Mario Kart World, where it's going to be free-for-alls. And Sunday is shared with Shellshock. We're gonna talk about the Game Boy. But good to see you, Derek. Good to see you, H-Bomb and friends. It's Monday, June 2nd, 2025. Also good to see you, Kaiju. I have alerts off because we're gonna be watching this without the alerts on, but I'll put the alerts back on when I'm playing either Mario Kart DS or Mario Party. I'm gonna start the call in just a little bit. Just want to make sure everything is good. As you can see right here, it's a PAX East Panel watch party. I have the screen blank right now. How does Mario Kart Madness work? Well, we're gonna do Mario Kart DS Netplay, but I'll talk more about that later on. In the meantime, let me just get myself together. I want to make sure everyone's good. All right, I'll say start the call. I'm also eating dinner while doing this, so it's like I got food, I got a watch along ready, so. All I have to say is shoutouts to Rick for making the recording the panel. Salmon, rice, and corn, nice. Sounds good. All right. All right. Let me just get it ready. Oh, why is this not on streamer mode? I'm gonna activate streamer mode on Discord. I don't know why it wasn't activated before, but it's going to be activated now. All right, so I'm going to start the call, and I just told the guys, how many games did I clear in the Mega Man Shuffle? None of them, but the closest I was Mega Man 2. All right. Hello?
Yo.
Hey.
Hello.
Good to see you guys. Welcome.
Likewise.
All right, so now that I got you guys here, I'm going to put the shared screen. Gonna put the hello, Silver.
Hey guys.
Yo.
All right, so I made sure everything's good. Like as you can see, it's a blank screen because it hasn't started yet, but I do have the screen up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I gotta. Excellent. Yeah, I'm just I'm grabbing the pop out for Discord.
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
Yep.
So how's everybody doing on this fine Monday?
I'm doing all right.
Getting by. I was doing some recording a minute ago. Monday.
Yeah, it's
Monday.
Typical Mondays.
I just wanted to be Wednesday night already.
Same.
Oh man, I've been it feels like I've been waiting forever, but I've counted down on my Blue Sky handle for the last 50 days. I'm ready for it to wrap up. God.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on a second. How do you real quick?
Yes.
Yes. How do you lower the quality of the Discord call? Because
you can. For the screen itself.
Yeah, the screen.
Yeah, because when you pull up your thing, I guess whatever screen it is, there should be a resolution thing where it says 720 or 1080 or 1440. Oh. But there's also a you should see it.
Yeah, I changed this. I changed it to 720. There we go. Cool. Now it just jumped because the internet on the OBS was very low, but then when changing it to 720, instant jump.
All right. If it gets too framey, let me know. I'll be a backup because I also download the panel just to be a good plan B.
All right, sounds good.
All right, sweet. And
Yeah. So it's finally ready. Again, Rick, thank you for recording it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I wish we
man.
could have gotten cleaner audio, but hopefully this will be clear enough for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And but regardless, I'm really am happy to have done this with all of you guys. Like, honestly,
Mhm.
Yeah, this was sick.
it was fun. It was amazing.
I had a great time. Like it was my first like PAX panel ever, so like I was like super excited to be a part of it.
Yep. So,
I wouldn't have switched anything.
all right. I did not put on share chat on, so there we go. Now it's on.
Yeah, hello everybody.
Yep.
Hello.
Alrighty.
There we go.
All right.
There we go, and I'll make myself right
Yeah.
now.
But yeah, I'm absolutely
Ooh.
ready.
All right, there we go. I'm ready to go. So, like I got everything all.
Likewise, I might do my adjusting on the fly, but I can also clean stuff up in my own VOD afterwards.
Yep.
Right.
All right. Real quick, Azran, are you streaming this or are you just gonna chill in the call? Because
Is it not going through? I thought I clicked the thing that said
You're
you're
there.
in, but you're not live. Are you?
Is
you
it-
said I didn't have to do anything in OBS.
You didn't have to. No, you didn't have to do anything OBS. Okay, then you're good. All right. Cool. All right. Well, so
I mean, also technically, like if Avro wasn't live, they wouldn't be in the share chat proper like that.
yeah.
I don't believe.
Also, all right. So I see people coming in the chat. Welcome. So this is gonna be fun. We're going to do the watch along, watch party for the PAX East panel. Nintendo Switch. Thanks for the memories.
Yep.
And
Man.
This was so fun to put together.
it really was.
Yeah, like honestly, the lead up to it was just like really, really great because at first it wasn't happening, and then it was happening 3 weeks before, and then
Yeah.
and then like the fact that I'm amazed that I'm glad that we were able to get it done within those 3 weeks because like, you know, Max was like, yeah, come on down, guys. I'm like, wait, what? We're in?
And you want to know what's the funny thing about this whole thing? The crazy thing, the funny thing about this is I found out that we got accepted while I was at a Taco Bell.
Yeah, you're just
Like-
casually getting a crunch wrap or something.
Yes.
and like
And then all of a
and
sudden,
just
like,
hear that.
they just sent me with an email saying, "Oh, guess what? The panel's accepted." I'm like, "What?" Was not.
Yeah.
It completely blindsided me because I
Mike.
also,
Like,
hey
this-
Mike, good to see you.
Hey Mike, Mike, I'm guessing you're still at the line.
Yep.
So Mike should still be outside in Central New York because we were there earlier.
Right.
Yeah, we were there for a little while earlier.
Talking with Mike and Chicken Dog and all the guys that were there, and great vibes so far. Sheldon had a wild weekend hanging over there,
Yeah.
but we'll be back there tomorrow evening to
Yep.
stick with the crowd. We're
Yep.
excited.
Yeah.
Also, for those who don't know, like of course, the store's doing a midnight launch on Wednesday night. They're also doing a special Switch 2 event. They're doing knockout tour for Mario Kart World, and they're offering like a prize for the winners. So I'm looking forward to kicking everyone's ass.
Yep. That one's gonna be fun. Yes, I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
That was rad as hell.
Give me
I'm ready when you are,
one,
Pete.
give me 1 second. There's just a random fly that's just popping up here. I'm like, get
Oh,
out of here. I did not invite you here. Yeah.
You know, one
Freeloader.
time I recorded a trailer, and Shell did a voice in that trailer, funnily enough. But I had to edit out a portion where the screen just went black for a second, and then I was like, "Why did it do that?" So I went back in the editing bay, went frame by frame, and it seems that 2 flies hit each other on a collision course and then dropped dead.
That's crazy.
Wow.
How
Wow.
does that even
I
happen?
didn't know that was I didn't know that was a thing that could even exist.
Yeah, the chance of that happening. This feels like very, very minuscule.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. I'm almost ready. Just want to do one quick thing real quick, and then
Yeah, no
we'll
worries.
be good.
Yeah, dude, take your time, bud.
All right. There we go. But yeah, I'm looking forward to showing this off in a minute.
on the instruction because
Yeah,
I had like
sick.
I had to rush. I had to make sure that I was live by 7 because like trains were taking long to get home.
Yeah,
Mm,
trains took a while. They definitely did.
Because we left like around like rush hour basically. So
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yep.
yeah.
All right. Okay, so I'm definitely ready for this. All right, so I have everything up. You guys ready for me to hit the play button?
Yep.
Sure thing.
All right. In 3, 2, 1, let's do it.
All right, all right.
All right, everyone. Welcome to Nintendo Switch. Thanks for the memories, the send-off panel.
Did what I could for the editing. Oh, can you not?
I cannot, because I'm watching in the Discord call.
Well,
I hear it.
I
Yeah,
hear
yeah,
it.
do you see like a little like speaker thing? Are you on mobile or PC?
Oh, got it. Okay, my bad. Now I
yeah.
can hear it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm ShellshockPrime. I'm Peter. I go by he, they pronouns.
Yep.
I stream on Twitch. My first game on Switch is Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and my favorite game is Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Yep.
I was having it just like he's mic right there.
Yep.
Hey guys, I'm Silver Some Connor. He, they pronouns. Moderator, Arkansas Switch, and RWU. Also admin Switch Play NYC. My very first Switch game was Breath of the Wild, and my favorite Switch game of all time is Splatoon 2.
A good game. Really good games.
Yeah, yeah. There's my woos.
I'm 112. I'm a moderator at the Arm Beckman subreddit. The very first Switch game I got was actually Shovel Knight Treasure Trove.
Yep.
It's a solid one. That's a
Yeah.
solid choice.
It really was.
In April of 2017, and that's because I didn't want any of the games that launched because I played Breath of the Wild on the Wii U, and I had to get it a week early before Mario Kart 8 came out, which was the actual first game I wanted. So I was like, I have a week with no games. Now what do I do? So I got Shovel Knight, and that's why it was my first. My favorite Switch game, Super Mario Odyssey, one of the best 3D platformers of all time.
You know, it's funny. I feel like we like barely talked about like indie games on the platform.
We barely did.
Well, it's better than the fact that we didn't talk about Smash like at all. I still can't believe
Yeah.
Yeah, like we actually kind of whiffed on that.
Pronouns are very
Yeah.
important. I also used to be a moderator.
Spoiler, we also didn't mention Fire Emblem.
And
Oh yeah, we didn't.
yeah, my
Oh,
first
wow.
Switch
Oh,
game
boy.
was 1-2 Switch.
Yep.
Minutes before getting into Breath of the Wild.
This one, like once the Switch got like got some representation.
It did.
I was like ignoring Nightbot.
I still haven't played Everybody 1-2 Switch, but I've heard it's not good.
It's okay with the right
You
people.
heard wrong then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I have it. It's all right.
Oh, I should have planned. I should have planned better. It could have been our last video before the Switch 2 launch.
Yeah.
it happens.
My favorite Nintendo game,
You only need 99 other people to make it the best possible version.
Yep.
Right.
enjoy, and I can't wait for Donkey Kong Odyssey in July.
Dr. Odyssey.
I mean, it's not wrong.
And my pronouns are he, him, excitedly. My first game, as you'll hear during this panel, I am into all the Nintendo gimmicks, no matter how gimmicky. So as soon as I heard about feeling the HD rumble and the balls rolling around inside the Joy-Con, I had to try
The balls.
way
Yep.
before Breath of the Wild. My favorite, though, at the moment is Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah.
Nice. Are Silver and I the only ones who had not done like a speaking panel before?
I would say yes, because like I know Max had done stuff for like Mega Man panel, and Pete had been on the the Labo panel before, and like the others as well.
Yep.
And of course, after did both Labo panels.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's also
There was a
Nintendo
QR code here.
in Pete's case, and then last year's Labo panel in mine.
Yep.
Right.
Very carefully. Very carefully. All right, everyone good?
I'm having issues on my end. Am I?
So,
Let me see.
for the Nintendo
Doesn't seem like it.
Well,
me-
hold on. Let me.
Goodness.
I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna pause real quick. All right.
Early.
Encoding overload considered turning down video settings.
Oh no.
So what do I
that
need?
might be-
All right. Let's fix that real quick.
Yeah. If anything, let me also grab that video real quick and
All right.
Like
Scrub
dropping
to
frames
that.
and stuff.
Yeah. Apparently
you
on
can
my
do-
end, just all right. So we'll have Silver do it. All right. So I'll.
What part are you at, Pete?
We just finished introducing ourselves.
Okay.
All right.
So that was. All right. So basically, like at the 3DS point. So
Yeah,
I'll do that real quick.
we just finished introducing ourselves. Yeah.
All right. Wonderful.
And now I'm apparently dropping frames. All right. So.
Oof.
Right.
Yeah. No, I understand. Like usually with that, it can be like a little dicey. All right. Let's share screen. Here we go. 720p.
Yeah.
Here.
Hold on a moment.
All right. All right. You guys do see this, right?
Yeah. Apparently my stream is frozen.
Oof.
Oh,
damn.
jeez.
What?
Like frozen.
Yeah, give me
Hang on
a
second.
I think that kind of overloaded it a bit. Let me just let me pop out the Discord real quick.
Yeah. I'll adjust on the fly here.
Yeah. Oh my god! Like, what the hell was that about?
That was not good.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, like sometimes these things can happen when you're broadcasting. Like all these things can go nutty.
It sure could. Yeah. Give me 1 second. Let me just. It looks all right. All right. For everyone in chat, let me know if everything is fine.
Yeah. Also, Pete, I'd say check on your end if you have the Twitch inspector site.
All right. I'll check in just a minute. Just want to make sure that this is.
You are okay. You are looking stable. But like, system says like you're refreshed. Nothing still. You are stabilizing though on my end.
Yep. I don't know I don't know how that happened here.
Yeah. All right. I don't know. Like it's sometimes it can be like real framey like that.
Yep.
All right, hang on.
Well, I guess because you're watching a video and you're streaming and you're technically also streaming to Discord at the same time, so that might be
Yeah.
a whole bunch of stuff happening at once.
Yeah, Pete, I'll send you this link real quick just to quickly monitor your setting. Oh, not setting, but like just your bitrate, I guess.
Yep.
Just you can quickly take a look at it and like see if it's like stable now.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
everybody. That I just can't believe that
No, it's all
happened.
Yeah, we got
All
plenty.
good.
We got plenty of time.
All right. Everything seems stable now, but like, yeah, it was like 3 minutes of it just acting up. All right. There we go. All right. Everything should be stable. All right. Except this fly needs to get the fuck out of here.
That's not stable at all.
All right. Okay. So.
All right. We're gonna. All right. I'm gonna hit play.
All right. Let's go.
Before the Nintendo Switch, we had 2 different platforms. First and foremost, we had the Nintendo 3DS.
Yeah.
A lot of 3DS love.
Successor to the
Yep.
DS came out in February of 2011.
You're not streaming in the Discord anymore. Okay. Actually, I can just.
Yeah.
I'll go to your Twitch chat. Hang on.
49.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very low.
Wait. Do you not see mine, Max?
6 months
I
later,
can see it. Yeah, I got it.
dropped the price.
Okay.
to 170.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
Silver took over.
Yeah, I had to take over because it was overloading shells.
All good. I got it.
I would argue in general the 3DS was pretty successful, and I definitely really like the console. But one thing I find very interesting is, man,
Oh, yeah, thank you.
compared to the Switch and
No problem.
Switch 2, the launch lineup of the 3DS was terrible. They had very, very good games.
Part of the reason they had to do the ambassador program, wasn't it? Along with when the price drop happened.
Yep.
And then I had to drop in the Steel Diver reference.
Wild and Mario Kart World.
I apologize to anyone who's a fan of like Pilot Wings or Steel Diver, but like, come on, I'm not wrong here.
Pilot Wings and Nintendo Dogs and Cats and Street Fighter 4, and that was it for the launch.
Street Fighter all the way for me.
And Mario Kart
Rip Mega Man Legends 3.
it's only got 18.99 million worldwide.
It's funny, the Mega Man Legends 3 thing for me was definitely kind of a double bummer.
Yep.
Didn't think about it much at the time, but we started our podcast, like the D-pad began that month.
Speaking of Wii U,
Really?
We were like psyched to have Mega Man Legends 3 to cover for like our second episode was going to focus on it.
the Wii U came out in
It's a bad time.
2012.
Yeah.
It started off okay.
Yeah, but you can hold burst time over that game.
Matched the success of the Wii.
Like,
The Wii
There
U
you
came
go.
out and made like 2 flies on a collision course.
Huh.
It launched for $299
Yep.
But the Wii U did, however.
Yeah, the $299 one was the white Wii U.
Nintendo Switch.
The basic version, yeah.
For the Wii U, there is no Switch really.
Yeah. So
100%.
So true.
Wii U pretty much crawled.
Nor would there be Switch 2.
Run. And most of Nintendo's
You might take away so far as like I didn't realize my voice was like that deep sometimes.
the Wii U was known for the off-TV.
You have the butteriest, bassiest voice. When I was editing, I was like, oh man.
That mic definitely did me a favor.
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch 2 game share needs to
Happens.
like the Wii U right now.
I do think the Wii U in general laid the groundwork for a lot of the Switch. And like, yes, I get it. The third-party support for this thing was absolute garbage. But in general, like a lot of the first-party games are games I think that people look fondly on, like Xenoblade Chronicles X, Super Mario Maker, Mario Kart 8 is one of my favorite games.
Yep.
ever.
I am curious if we're gonna get another Mario Maker now that we got the mouse.
Please.
Yeah, no, right?
Please.
Trying to be ahead of its time.
Or
That would be the perfect time to do it. Yeah, I have to imagine that. 'cause
or did it
Mario 2 is
Mario 2
very
Switch
successful.
edition
Yeah.
or whatever?
Nintendo really turned towards the indie developers out there, the Nindies, back then.
Yeah, the Nindies.
Hey, someone called
There we
them
go.
out.
Had, like,
Yep.
games like Runbow, for example. Like, this is where the things start to turn towards, good favor for the eShop.
Yeah. Big shout out to is anyone here an affordable space adventures enjoyer? The audience?
I am.
Was there one in the back?
Such a hidden gem.
I bought it before the shop went down. Still gotta try it.
It's actually pretty damn good. It works great for multiplayer too. It's a very different texture to it.
Yep.
I got we got the devs for like an AMA back on our review. They're awesome people.
Yep.
Jinx.
Technically, like Max has it in the correct the correct orientation because my left Joy-Con was red.
We have 8 years.
I just realized I'm wearing the same shirt.
Nintendo Switch.
I think that's because my OLED was one of the colored versions.
Right.
2017 at $299.
It is wild that it lasted more than 8 years before being replaced. I know that they were planning on doing it perhaps a little bit sooner, and they've been working on it for years, but 8 years without a replacement is honestly pretty bonkers, especially these
That's
days.
true.
Yep.
They wanted the Wii U to be region free, and they couldn't do that. They kept up with their promise to make it region free with Switch.
Right. Region-free gaming was kind of really picking up steam at that point, and it was basically a major turning point to allow for all regions to be playable in a single system.
Yes.
And I mean, we'll talk about this throughout this panel, but I really want to underscore just how revolutionary it was to be able to take a home console on the go. Because
Yep.
for so long, home console gaming was seen as sort of this separate pillar, and that's the word Nintendo used anyways.
Third pillar.
Like, no one really.
I had to reference it somewhere because everyone was talking about it at that point.
Yeah. If I can finally get a channel off the ground, I'll be very happy.
I really do not think
Yeah.
gaming is ever going to be the same again after this. It's really hard to go back to playing on a console and stuck to the TV, at least for me. And I think that a lot of people feel that way. Not even just
That's for you, Derek.
just around the world,
Yeah.
especially in places like Japan where handheld gaming is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was also really big as well for a very long time, handheld games were kind of seen as an inferior version of whatever you're playing. If there were ports like, say Spider-Man 2 from back when that was everywhere. You have your PS2 version or whatever, and it's awesome and it's great, and then you have your Game Boy Advance version, which is one of the worst licensed games ever made. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay.
True.
So now
Except Crusaders 2.
get those really great consoles on the go, which really we're not able
So many messes on handheld stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was watching
Mega Man 5 for Game Boy was arguably better than some of the NES games, though.
It was.
Absolutely.
So kind of sort of, but there were always limitations until the Switch. We all
4 was pretty good, too.
doing
Not quite as good.
And the Switch certainly has its
I think it's definitely on par. I mean, the 5 definitely gets all the love because of the Star Droids, but 4's got some really good levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
independent motion, no wire connecting them now. But it was also the start of Nintendo becoming a little more standardized with the rest of the game hardware industry.
Yep.
How many people cheered for USB-C charging on the Switch tablet?
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah,
For real.
I remember going back to the
happy
PC
about
video.
that,
People
yeah.
were very happy about that.
Yeah. Trend continue, and now they're catching up. They're
slightly not helped though by them needing like specific like high voltage requirements or whatever for it, but
Yeah,
they seem to be correcting that over time.
Yep.
Oh, man.
yeah. I
Do we
remember
know how
buying.
big the power brick will be for Switch 2 because it's gotten smaller over the years, but it's
I heard it's a
still
60 watt
big.
charger.
This is here to stay.
I hope it's
so-
smaller. I hope the form factor on the charger is smaller.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, that's
so
what it
bulky.
is.
It was bulky.
Yeah.
You would have expected to see.
It needs to be easy to fit into like power strips.
Expect to see on a handheld.
Yep. Yeah, power strips
yeah.
and like luggage too if it's going to be portable.
Right. And I know for a fact I'm not using any third party things until like they're like properly tested.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
So I'm very aware about using it with like any third party docks.
So Nintendo has taken their active franchises to the next level with games like Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, and Kirby and Forgotten Land, just to name a few. But the thing about that is that because people have talked about how they wanted like each of these video game series to grow, and after seeing games that they felt were safe sequels for years, they decided to take risks and try completely new things, and it completely paid off for them in the long run because these games have been their respective best-selling games. Not only that, they've also achieved mass critical acclaim.
Rick and I both mentioned this, but like Super Mario Odyssey in general is probably one of the most important Mario games ever, in my opinion, and like especially for a franchise as huge as Mario. Just the openness of Super Mario Odyssey and the depth of the tech that was available, not just in terms of like, oh, the worlds are huge, but like there's so many movement options. It just feels fun to move around, and I feel like when a platforming game achieves something like that, we're not even just going to get the collectibles, the moves in this case, is fun, but moving around, exploring, even of itself, when that's fun, you really nailed on something special. And the capture mechanic, genuinely one of the most genius gameplay ideas ever.
100%.
And I hope it's in
Yeah.
I hope Cappy is not just a one-off, because that is way too good to only have one game based on.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I completely get it.
It's also just it's arguably the best movement that he's ever had outside of 64, and probably more so than at this point.
Yeah.
I would say so at least.
100% agree with that.
With Skyward Sword, a game that famously was like really restrictive on what you could do, famously had stuff cut at the last second. The entire Sky World was like slashed to ribbons. A unified like land realm was planned, and they didn't do any of that. So being able to
Oh yeah,
polar opposite
that was true.
of that and make this
All right.
Such a bummer to hear about that. Like Zelda so frequently has cut after cut after cut, and it's like, guys, come on, like actually follow through on some of these ideas.
and it really
Yeah.
helped kind of kick off open world gaming as a popular genre between that and the Horizon series, which the first entry launched on the same day. We really wound up with a huge wealth of open world experiences just from how impressive Breath of the Wild wanted to be.
I definitely think all three of these games, and also there's a few other games that were not listed on here that we were actually talking about earlier. Like Super Mario Bros. Wonder is a fantastic example of this, where like
Wonder.
people were tired of new Super Mario Bros. After 12 years. I really was actually not one of those people, but
Yeah, I feel like this is the slide where I should have at least briefly mentioned Fire Emblem for Three Houses. Although I know that not having the weapon triangle is a sticking point.
Yeah.
Every single level being something completely different. I've told the story before to other people, but literally every time I entered a level in that game, I had a giant grin on my face, and in my head I was thinking, okay, Nintendo, what's next? What crazy thing do you have right now? And I literally screamed when I saw the freaking metal cat from Super Mario 64.
That was by far my favorite Wonder. In fact, I still can't believe they did that.
A Nintendo franchise that really, like a Nintendo genre, that was really elevated from the Switch.
Yep.
I'd also say too with Wonder, a lot of people would also assume with 2D Mario that with Mario Maker being your thing, it's like, well, you guys can just make them now, so why even make a new 2D Mario? And then basically redefine the 2D Mario like landscape for people to show them like, hey, we still got the juice.
Didn't they literally build a Mario World sized number of like Mario Maker levels as like an adventure mode at one point?
I think they did. Yeah.
That was from Mario Maker 2.
Yeah, it was like the one of the,
Story mode.
the story mode, and also you can make your own world as well.
Which I did too.
Yeah,
actually.
which that was actually super rad.
Next slide, which is Breath of the Wild. eventually move on to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which, as we mentioned earlier, it would come out like a couple of days after Horizon Zero Dawn did. And like we would start seeing more games take inspiration from Breath of the Wild. Even the sequel, Horizon Forbidden West.
I think this is where like my brain was on the fritz for a second.
Because with that game, like
That happens, especially when you're doing a live panel.
first
Absolutely.
other open world games come before, but now like just to have Breath of the Wild being a game that influences so many different games afterwards, it's pretty wild to me.
Yep.
No pun intended.
Wild.
Yep.
Really the first Zelda game that sort of took after Zelda 1 in the respect that it was so much more open and you could sort of go in any order you want and do the levels in any order you want for the most part. There's still some restrictions, but I just find it interesting that it took that long for Nintendo to try and revisit that idea again. And not only that, they were very deliberate when they were sort of unveiling the game for the first time by saying, oh, we are going back to Zelda's roots. We are doing the Zelda 1 thing again, where it is more open, it is not linear, you can do any of the dungeons in any order with some caveats, of course. You could go to right to the final boss if you want to. Would I recommend that? No, because I tried that and I got my butt kicked immediately, but you can if you want to.
Like even that shot that's on the screen there is literally an homage back to the NES game's own art at the time too.
Salty that
Right.
he didn't win Game of the Year in 2017, but considering how impactful Breath of the Wild was for open world games, I get it.
It's understandable, like honestly. Like
There we go.
for me, I think playing Breath of the Wild 2 also kind of ruined other open world games for me. Like I remember, I'm not sure what game it was I was playing, but I was trying to like climb up a wall in that game. I'm like, wait a minute, this is Breath of the Wild. I can't climb up this. Like it's impossible to do that. Like for a time, like it felt like games like open world games at that time were kind of a step behind. Because there is a pre-Breath of the Wild and post Breath of the Wild kind of era in games where you can tell that they really like learned a lot of the systems from the engines the team made. And I want to also like throw out there that like really like how do I put this? Like it's so hard to like catch me like this how much you can do in the game. Like it really makes you feel like just like you go anywhere. Like they really took like, oh, see that mountain like way over there? You can go there. Like mind blowing.
Yeah, but in my head, I felt like I said something longer, like dilly dallying there, but like it's like a lot quicker that I recovered.
Yeah, no, that was right to the point.
Yeah.
With Zelda in a lot of ways. Like Breath of the Wild, you saw an immediate like rush of games that started doing open world stuff. Some, in fact, using mechanics that seemed a little bit overly close to how Breath of the Wild was doing. And I want to say it was a Genshin Impact that had.
Right.
Oh, right.
That game never came out on Switch at all, did it?
It was supposed to.
That looks familiar.
You think it's gonna be on Switch too? Like, I know they're teasing Zenless, but like I'm not sure about Genshin Impact.
I don't think so.
More vocal about like, hey,
I think maybe the moment's passed.
we have too many of them. And
Also, 1 second.
play them all, so please stop doing open world games all the time. Tears of the Kingdom wound up selling fantastically well as well. I think it was a little bit under Breath of the Wild, which makes sense. People were getting a little tired of it, but they really did a very impressive job of taking an already open world and somehow opening it more. The verticality between the sky. And
Well, they just had to punch a bunch of holes into the cliffs to make caves. That's how you open it up more.
Yeah,
The caves on the surface I don't think get enough love as like a major element of Tears of the Kingdom that were just fully not present in the first one. I was very charmed by the way they connected some caves into some of the depths areas too.
Yeah.
We got Metroid Dread. We got Emil the Smiling Man. Third, Famicom Technical Club.
The one, the FTC like fanboy. The audience.
The only three.
Hey, there's always gonna.
There have been some
That game is amazing, so I totally get it.
Like, we got, remember Trace Memory for the DS?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, so we ended up getting that.
Yeah, I just had to change scenes and mute for a moment because I was just blowing my nose. But I'm good.
I got you.
It's-
We would get them both.
You know, Another Code Recollection isn't quite the direct remake of the DS game.
Bless you.
Thanks.
No, it's not a one-to-one remake because they did change a lot of things to make it like work on the Switch.
Yeah.
Adorable. For very different reasons, but Metroid Dread.
I think that's also like it's also genius because like they call it recollection, you know. it's like, you know, recollection of memories, but like,
Yeah.
it's not one to one.
It works.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I think someone told me that on Reddit, and like it like blew my mind. I'm like, you know, that makes like a lot of sense.
Yep.
Because I played Trace Memory and that back to back, and I'm like, yeah, it was very different.
Outrage from Metroid Prime Federation Force.
Oh yeah, the Metroid Prime Federation Force outrage. I remember that.
I get to play it soon. I've never played it before.
Good luck.
Oh boy.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
I want to try, but like I'm like I just need people to play with.
But the developers at Mercury Steam absolutely nailed
I'll have to let you know when I'm getting close. Maybe we can figure something out.
while still playing like a Metroid game. It feels like an evolution of the concept. I love the Emmys.
Oh wait, the servers are down. Wait a minute. Shit.
And Emio the Smiling
Yep.
Man, I only played Famicom Detective Club for the first time like this year.
We'll have to check if Pretendo got to that one.
It blew my
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
game. I was not a huge
I know everyone was already banging about that, but like it's been a little bit slow lately.
And this game basically made me go, okay, guess I'm playing entire physical novels now because I love this. And F-Zero 99, what is there to say? I mean,
Yeah,
it's like
F-Zero 99.
one more round game. I will go round after round after round, getting annoyed at people picking Big Blue every single time. Please stop doing that.
I swear. Everyone picks Big Blue. It's really annoying.
Because I don't think there's that many
Honestly, it's a rare opportunity for F-Zero to be like at the top of a given like cluster of games too.
Yeah.
I just do think that all three of these games are emblematic of a previous slide we had about like evolving franchises to the next level while also taking these older franchises and just giving them the love and attention they deserve.
I think what makes
Yeah.
each of them work is that because they've been out of commission for a while, they weren't afraid to grow up with the audience. Metroid
Yeah.
Dread is the most intensive Metroid in terms of like, you really gotta learn the controls, you gotta nail every single move.
Yep.
It's possible to get through the entire game without taking a single bit of damage, and that's why they added Dread mode later on. And then MEO, the Famicom Detective was absolutely dormant, right?
I still have to do the whole Famicom Detective Club series.
Yeah.
Same.
Really good.
Yeah, so, even long. So, okay, all those people grew up with that. They're old enough to handle a more mature game. One warranted an M rating if you go into the epilogue that I can't spoil.
Oh yeah, no, that epilogue is legitimately terrifying. I will not say another word about this, but if you think you know scary games, try that epilogue. It honestly, like, kept me awake in bed for the entire rest of the night.
And in F-Zero's case, it's like...
I'm serious about that.
When Nintendo gets real scary.
That epilogue, man, it is hard to talk. It is hard to like explain it, but it is just ridiculous.
Yes.
Try this. It's free with
And I still have to do Dread mode.
play with me.
I just can't believe they went there in the MEO epilogue.
It's been...
I think it's the first time I've looked away from a screen in a video game because I was worried I wouldn't like what I saw.
Unfortunately, you are right. You were right to look away because you probably wouldn't have liked what you saw. But it was good storytelling, man. It was such good
It
storytelling.
was only for like a second. I still got the gist.
It was already kicking around there, and then Donkey Kong Bonanza. Folks have noticed that F-Zero has been getting a lot more attention, very quietly, little bits and pieces between F-Zero 99, and now we're getting F-Zero GX on the Switch 2.
Don't we have like every F-Zero on NSO now?
Maybe we
Well,
I think there's one that's missing.
franchise for very, very little.
Like there's like a Japanese
it's-
exclusive one, but
It's
other than that
AX,
though.
but that's an arcade game. I've actually
Oh,
played
that's
it.
right,
They
yeah.
had it at MagFest, but
Yeah.
I mean that's just GX with different tracks, and you can unlock those tracks in GX anyways.
Yeah.
Rhythm Heaven is coming back.
Yeah, but getting Rhythm Heaven back.
Donkey Live's coming back, and
I'm psyched for that. I love that series.
And
remember Clubhouse games on the DS? Yeah, that's getting game share as well on Switch. But it's not just limited to first-party Nintendo games, you see, because third parties have also received revivals. Like we got
Yep.
Oh, God, yes.
Mega Man 11, Sonic Mania, and even Prince of Persia.
I get to try out the demo for Mega Man 11 at E3 in 2018, and it was just like, oh god, it was amazing to get to go and try it out. But it was like great, but I have to wait months to be
yeah,
able to get my hands
exactly.
on
I
this.
mean,
Right. No, yeah.
it was announced and released pretty quickly. I thought it was only a few months out after they announced it.
Yeah, Mega Man!
Well, I mean, I had to.
I'm wearing my hat this way right now, but there's a reason I have this pin on. I mean, it's Mega Man is
Oh yeah.
think I
Give me some piano, and Mega Man 11 has an entire alternate soundtrack that's all piano.
Yep.
It's really good. That alternate soundtrack rules.
I really like that.
Really started the whole franchise. I mean, it was literally
Which one
dead
was it
for
that I
like 8
liked?
years, and just seeing Mega Man 11, I almost jumped out of my seat.
Oh, I think
That
it
was
was
like last man stage, but
Fuse Man for me.
I really love the transformations that they have in that game, like the
Yeah.
like visual differences for Mega Man. Obviously, super inspired by because there's the team that did Battle Network and Star Force that worked on 11, and you can tell there were a few very specific things, and
yeah.
I would love to see interpretations of the older ones like that too.
Yeah.
Right.
Something that Akira Kitamura, the creator of Mega Man, said was fundamental to the franchise. The fact that that was in the game made me so unbelievably happy.
Yeah.
Not even to mention like Sonic Mania, the last 2D Sonic game we were talking about this beforehand was like Sonic 4 Episode 2. It had been so
Oh yeah.
Sonic Mania, arguably the best Sonic game in decades.
Yep.
Honestly, I think it definitely was. Not even close.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Sonic Mania Plus.
And also the fact that Christian Whitehead and like Titan Taxman worked on this like legendary Sonic fan game.
Yeah, it's like 2D Sonic, you have Mania. 3D Sonic, you have both Frontiers and Shadow Generations.
Shoutouts to Team.
Yeah. Also, as for Christian Whitehead and then folks, it was super interesting learning just how far they had come. So, like, I used to be on the Sonic Retro forums back when they were Sonic Cult and the associated stuff in the early 2000s, and they were already kind of household names in a very tiny little corner of the internet. So,
Yep.
crazy to see recognizable names from back then suddenly making these huge games.
Yeah,
I remember the Mania announcement, and like when they flashed Christian Whitehead's name, I'm like, oh, they're really getting they're going there.
Yep. Like I remember just listening to a lot of the remixes from D-Lopes that he's done over the years on YouTube.
Yeah. He just put up a Flying Battery Zone one, I think today or maybe last night.
Nice.
Really good mix.
I've seen a couple games on the show.
Yeah, Prince of Persia, I still have yet to play Lost Crown, but I've heard nothing but great things about it.
I would definitely like to play that game in the future.
Yeah.
You're not gonna remember.
It can be really satisfying
Like-
to either juggle enemies around or to perform platforming challenges in these special areas to get collectibles or upgrade your abilities.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like people seem to agree that if you love Metroid Dread and you understood what Metroid Dread did with Metroid, this is basically that, but for Prince of Persia.
Not to mention the
Much.
Shinobi coming out as
At least from what I've heard, I haven't played the game yet, but I really
The
should.
platforming abilities are quite different between the two, and obviously Prince of Persia is more about melee combat than ranged combat.
back Ghost of Goblins.
Right.
Ghost of Goblins
Yeah.
which was a Switch
You know,
title
it's
exclusive
good.
for a few months, but it's a really good game and a very good revival for Ghost of Goblins.
Oh yeah, Ghost of Goblins
yeah.
Resurrection, because it was a time exclusive for Switch for a while. Hey Caitlin.
Hey, Caitlin.
Yeah, we got the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. The fact that that was even announced during the Nintendo Direct was mind-blowing. I did
Mind-blowing.
not see that coming at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That actually segues very well into our next slide.
Exactly, because like there's like
hell?
different video game series that you could play on the Switch.
My Nightbot just posted an ad.
All the games, or you're playing
Like an ad or
Like,
2D Metroid. You can play everything.
yeah, what the hell?
Metroid.
Wait, what the?
It didn't make it into the stream chat, but it's
You have pretty much
some link to some website. I don't.
is it that third pillar one that you see right there?
Yes.
That's mine. That's me.
Okay. Oh, so that's okay. Maybe that's your Nightbot then, or something.
Yeah.
I was just like,
Yeah,
what the hell just happened?
it's me.
Okay, that's fine.
I forget our Nightbots will still be active in the share chat. It's still a little weird.
They
'cause,
like crossover and stuff too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was just so confused because I'm like, my Nightbot doesn't do that.
But yeah,
Mine does.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like I don't use Nightbot, I just have my own stuff.
I'm working on deprecating it because like right now I'm juggling like 3 bots and I'm trying to consolidate everything into mix it up or streamer bot.
Yeah,
I've just been kind of lazy to like consolidate everything.
that's fair. But
I'm gonna
like,
try building my own at some point too.
but yeah, going
Yeah.
back to this, the fact that like you could play like there's so many video game series that you could play either all of the series or most of on Switch is just amazing.
If not more, just on that one franchise alone.
Absolutely. Some
Other franchises.
huge ones. Yeah, Sonic 2D and Mega Man in particular have just a crazy number of games in them.
Xenoblade Chronicles fans were the big winners of the Switch generation.
Oh yeah,
Especially considering
that
where
the
they
truth?
started.
Yeah,
like because they're going to be guaranteed eating good for like the next decade on that.
yeah. Like most 2D Sonic games, most Mega Man games, pretty much most of the 2D Metroid games.
We need a proper remake of Mega Man and Bass Challenger from the future. We need to
Yeah.
rescue it.
Yes.
Eventually. Did anybody go to the silk posting panel?
I'm still mad I missed that panel.
It was good. It was really good. It's up on.
It's
at
up on
least-
YouTube, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they just put it up a couple days ago.
Yeah.
I missed Dan Olsen's other panel that I was also interested in. It was too early on Friday for me to catch, but
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Like yeah, because you could play all the Donkey Kong Country games on the Switch. Well, not the
Is
GBA
60
ports, but yeah. Are they?
is 64 on the on Nintendo
No.
Classics already?
Not yet.
Not yet. It's on Wii U, which is interesting, but like it's not on
Oh
Switch
my
yet.
god.
It's it's probably the next N64 game. Probably.
It's gonna happen.
We'll see. Yeah, Arcade Archives. Yes.
Yeah. I had the freaking GBA ports of Donkey Kong Country.
Cowabunga collection.
Yeah, the Switch has a lot of collections as a whole. Like so many.
Really,
Yeah.
a lot.
And again, on the go. You can play all this wherever you want. You don't have to be tethered to your TV. That is
Exactly.
incredible.
Metal Gear Solid.
Or streaming from
Mass
your
collection.
PS5.
Second one comes soon. Toy Family, Tetris Forever.
Just forever.
That's just forever. We had to shout that out.
We're kind of in an era where when it comes to games, especially old games, we're kind of
Is the patented Rick bring the mood down moment.
It's such an important topic, game preservation, and there's been, it feels like an endless battle of whether some games are just going to vanish forever. The Wii U and 3DS eShops went down, 2 years ago? I think somewhere around there.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Time flies.
Forever, unless they get ported, and the dev teams that made
Yeah.
it do something with it. There are games that are lost functionally forever. And so having all these franchises getting retro collections, really faithful ports too. That's been kind of it's important to put that out there too. That these are really good ports in nearly all cases. So being able to keep that history around is so important in a time where if anybody had a PS4 with PT,
PT on it.
just disappeared.
I think I had PT, but like that PS4, I think it was my brother's. It broke.
For better or for worse. Being deleted off of people's PlayStations, like this stuff, is very fragile in a lot of ways. So having them support this, in this way over time, I think is incredibly important.
Karateka.
for these-
Yeah, I gotta get Karateka and
Yeah.
the Llama Soft collection, and also Atari.
I only have Atari 50. Like I want to get the others.
I only have Tetris Forever.
You may not have
Out
a
of those.
functioning cartridge anymore if you don't replace the battery. So having this stuff is I think really important. Exactly.
I think they started that with the SNK40 of collection as well, but maybe.
With the Nintendo Switch.
All right,
you have,
yeah,
like,
we got the
different
Labo, we got the Game Builder
editions,
Garage.
like the Labo and the Game Builder Garage.
Okay, the part where
This is my thing.
Yeah, this was Azra. This was definitely your domain right here.
That was your section.
Nintendo Labo,
I did get Game Builder Garage though. I didn't play for too long.
to say the least.
Yep.
But the big part is that at the end of every Labo game, you can go to the Discover section, you can learn about how all this stuff works, and it was part of Nintendo's push to get more young folks involved with the programming side of things, because the game industry, it needs new blood, and it needs that
does.
new blood to know what
Still
they're
needs
doing
new blood.
when it comes to the basic programming.
it also needs to stop laying off the old blood.
Surviving
Agreed.
Stop bleeding.
has so far.
Yeah.
And Nintendo Labo was a great way to teach that and encourage people to build their own peripherals. They tried to get it into schools, and I wish that I was at my current job when they were doing that, because my current job would have been all over getting these into the classroom and working with the kids to teach this stuff. Unfortunately, they've killed it off since then, and my whole job was not gonna do that. Game Builder Garage is much more direct though. It just takes the programming aspects of Labo, turns it into its own game, and it attempts to teach you through a system called checkpoints, which, to steal a line from one of my own videos, it is not a place where you respawn if you die of boredom during the lecture. It's the opportunity to go into the broken code of a game and make a quick fix and learn why it was broken in the first place. If you look at the Nintendo Switch Welcome Tour trailer and you look at like the text boxes for how they're showing off how the Switch 2 works, that Labo DNA is still very much in there. It's basically the same thing. So while this product,
I actually just saw the overview trailer today in Japanese. I think it's proving its worth for that $10.
Yep.
Strong and hard.
It looks very, very well done.
So update on that. I forget if I said this in the panel, but I actually already pre-ordered Welcome Tour, and it cost me a grand total of 64 cents because I had a ton of gold points left.
Your gold points, yeah. I remember you brought that up. When we were like walking and talking.
Yeah.
That's
It
how
actually
I got
didn't even-
the Castlevania collection for a penny.
Oh, thanks for the look.
Same idea, yeah.
Yep.
It actually did not even occur to me to pre-order Welcome Tour.
You can pre-order the Switch 2 games, but obviously you can't download them to your console.
Yeah.
Be creative with what you can do.
That said, I would if you're planning on getting Deltarune specifically, I would honestly advise not doing that because the messaging on how to upgrade from Switch 1 to Switch 2 is a little weird. I would suggest getting the Switch 1 version first, and then transfer your demo save data, then transfer that to the Switch 2's version.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm still maintaining the possibly naive and vain stance of I'm just gonna wait till the game is done, and then I'm gonna just like zero in and like go nuts on it.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
So, who here has watched a lot of Nintendo Directs?
Oh yeah, the Nintendo Directs.
My favorite parts of the panel, honestly. I'm so glad we brought this out because the Directs really
Yeah.
the Switch era. They were cool in the Wii U era, but like they were incredible in the Switch era in terms of their games that they presented.
Yeah.
They definitely reshaped how a lot of the like marketing of video games works nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many different.
I was I told Pete just like after the panel, but like good, really good call putting the Etika frame in there. 'Cause I think like Etika really was a big part of like the initial Switch 2. Switch.
Yeah, that was a good move.
Yeah. It's like because I was trying to think of what I wanted to go with because I went with Jimmy G from Metroid Dread because I thought that their reaction to that was amazing, and of course I had to put in Maximilian Dude's reaction to the Marvel vs. Capcom. I had to
And that's a more recent one too, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's become super iconic. I do love the edit where he's freaking out over Super Mario Party Jamboree. That's very funny.
Yeah, but putting Etika there, like I wanted to at least honor him in some way because
that was a very good taste addition because, as you said, he really made Switch 2 Directs like hype in a way that very few other creators did. And frankly, if he were here, I think he would be honored.
He would, yes.
And it really sort of created.
Because I felt it would not be right if I didn't honor him in any way. I felt like we had to honor him. We had to have something for him. That's just.
This was the best place to put it for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wii U era, but it was the Switch really that took advantage of that hype culture, that React culture on YouTube.
This one's for you, Desmond.
And by the way, shout out to all three of these channels: Good Vibes Gaming, Maximum Dude, and Rest in Peace, Etika. I mean, these are some of the forebearers of like this sort of React and hype culture. And I honestly, after every single Nintendo Direct, I am one of those people who do go and watch other people's reactions because I love sharing in that hype.
The Smash team really knows how to position their videos. Like that frame that Etika's looking at right now with the Smash Ball and Inkling's eye, it's like the best possible direction they could have taken it.
Oh yeah.
I do love the taglines that they do for each of the characters. I really wish I brought this up during the panel, but like the Smash characters getting their own CGI trailers and getting like their own taglines for joining the battle was always a treat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, like compare it, like, you know, Snake had a pretty decent reveal back in Brawl, but Sonic's was like kind of embarrassing.
It was.
It was literally like,
So last minute.
Because
Yeah.
like that was like Japan time was kind of coined because like they dropped it like the dead of night.
yeah,
Yeah.
And like I remember waking up and like I'm like Sonic's in the game. Like what?
I remember
'Cause I'm checking the dojo.
Yeah, I remember
the
like
trailer doesn't hold anything back for dramatic effect. It's just like, yep, Sonic adventure music. Here's Sonic's feet. Oh yeah, by the way, it's Sonic. It's like, all right.
Kind of sort of do the same
I
thing,
also
but
really like the Sakurai presents for each character in the DLC.
Those were very cool.
And so
Right.
I want one for Kirby Air Riders
For
2.
Air Riders, I would love to see like him do something for Air Riders.
yeah.
I'd be willing to believe that he will do that. He seemed to have really slotted into doing like YouTube-based content in general for like all this stuff. So
I think like Sakurai like benefited the most from the pandemic because like he just like really just settled in and knew like how to like navigate like a lot of the pitfalls of it,
Like the fact-
showing his home and everything, you know.
And then
I
like
want-
go ahead.
I'm gonna say, I also wish I brought this up during the panel, and I feel like I'm gonna be saying that a lot tonight. I am of the opinion that Masahiro Sakurai on creating games like the YouTube channel is one of the most, honestly, is going to be one of the most important things that a video game creator has done possibly ever, because the amount of information in those videos in an easy to understand and digestible manner is truly mind-boggling, and the amount of effort he put in is beyond commendable. Like I honestly believe that that's going to be a hallmark of this era of Nintendo, is
Yeah.
the fact that one of its, most famous creators gave back something to the industry that I don't think will ever truly be measured in terms of magnitude.
100%.
agreed.
I worked at a career tech school where kids kind of have to do their own research on stuff sometimes. So if any of them are looking into game dev, I am going to point them towards that.
Yes.
Have you ever encountered someone using the videos for a project? Because story time, I actually did use a Sakurai video in a university class as evidence once, which was pretty funny.
Nice.
Not yet.
People will be like, hey, where's the Nintendo Direct? Is the Nintendo Direct going to be coming anytime soon? And when it finally does, it hits everyone big.
Is the time between the Switch 1 Direct and the Switch 2 Direct back in April, is that the shortest amount of time we've had between Directs? Because that was like 7 days. That was crazy.
Yeah.
I want to say
Not if you count games specific to it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Pokemon Direct definitely had one that was like right next to Nintendo Direct. Sometime in the past year, I think, even. But
I'd say
otherwise,
because I keep forgetting like because I remember they did a pre-direct for Wii U, but then they did the live show, so that I think that was a direct.
Yes.
you know,
Gran Turismo, which is hilarious, by the way. But
It's just so wild
Mario
how well Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sold on the Switch.
those numbers are fucking insane.
It is nuts.
I also would like to apologize to all of the Forza and Gran Turismo fans I insulted right there. That was not meant to be a dig at your franchise. I just find it hilarious that the go-kart game won Racing Game of the Year. Like that is funny to me.
Yeah.
Any other game in the series?
Hey, based on those numbers, the Forza and Gran Turismo fans and Mario Kart fans too.
But
Yeah.
You have a very good point there.
which is pretty much on par with a lot of other battle modes from previous Mario Kart games.
I'm honestly, this is one of the few things I'm disappointed about with World. I'm so sad that there's only 2 battle modes again when 8 Deluxe had 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to bet they're gonna do.
On Switch.
I was gonna say, I am assuming they're gonna do, even if it's not like a season pass style set of downloads. There's gonna be additional things in there for sure.
Yeah.
They might be kind of
I
like
hope
feeling
so.
it out a little bit too, to see like, all right, what are people gravitating towards?
Oh yeah.
Want to see in any of the races.
this was a flagship title for one of the models that Nintendo was putting.
Is it weird how, despite being a Wii U game, I honestly associate this more with a Switch?
So,
not at all. Like,
After all this time, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's kind of been co-opted on, if I'm being completely honest.
it's gonna be the case with almost any game that got moved off the Wii U. There's few, if any, that I think of as Wii U games.
Something that made me work over the weekend in preparation for a couple.
Yeah, because in the case of Breath of the Wild, like it came out like at the same time on both Wii U and Switch, but more people associated with the Switch because that's what most people got it on.
And it's a different story from Twilight Princess, where the GameCube version, the one that was on the lower system, was the more, it's the version of the game that was kind of more designed around in the first place. Like they flipped the map for the Wii version because they were like, oh, most people are right-handed.
Yep.
Right.
But this one didn't have that, so.
In a couple instances, but not quite as often. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe may very well be the single most impressive performance for a game that only got released on a single console.
Yeah.
I also want to underscore how much content this game has, especially post Booster Course.
Oh, yeah.
There are 96 racetracks in this game. That is crazy. Very recently,
And not a lot of them that outright suck.
96 tracks in a row. That took me so long that I actually had to split it over the course of
And realizing that the Boost Course Pass was actually them buying time for World.
Yeah,
5-6
it was.
Probably, yeah.
After they announced
No,
World, I
they
just kind
confirmed
of had a feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, Book confirmed it in direct.
Are there any other racing games that have 96 racetracks? I mean, I guess.
I was thinking that, yeah.
I can maybe count Tour because mobile game, but I mean on a console.
I'm not sure.
I can think of usually they top out of maybe 20 to 30 tracks. Like and Gran Turismo is a lot different because they're more realistic with theirs.
Yep.
Right.
It will keep selling, honestly. I don't know how much more it's going to keep selling until a certain point. Yes.
At a certain point.
That's why they call them bank turns. Yep. Talk about the future.
I mean, Hot Wheels Unleashed gives you a track editor, so there could be more than 96 tracks, hypothetically.
You're not wrong, but I guess by that logic, the game with the most amount of Mario levels is Mario Maker, which is technically true, but that's not really the question I was asking, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Well, Google
Super
telling
right.
me
So
the default
close.
number.
How many of you guys pre-ordered the Nintendo Switch 2?
I would have, but I was busy that day.
They tried to charge me for mine on Friday, and I got the automatic fraud check thing.
Oh no.
And I told it was fine, but it hasn't tried again since, and now I'm real nervous. My order is still there. It's still a temp hold, but I'm am I gonna have to make a trip out to a Walmart or something on Thursday morning?
I'm gonna be picking mine up in person. I got mine at a GameStop, but I'm gonna have to pull a bit of a gambit because for reference, I live in DC, and the last metro stops running at midnight. So if I don't make this last bus at 2 a.m., I'm stuck. So bit of a risk, but I'm gonna try.
Yep.
Good luck.
And you can get that with the bundle for the Switch 2, so...
Oh, thank you, Eric.
Crazy. It's only 3 more days.
Yeah, no, we're just getting close to it.
Yeah, less than 3. It's basically 2 and change
It's
now.
2 and change, yeah.
Yeah.
Games. And I know some people are like, oh, the Nintendo Switch 2 is lost in Nintendo.
I'm specifically doing a short stream Wednesday night so that I can get sleep to go into Thursday.
Honestly, I'm gonna take that advice too. That's good advice.
Yeah.
Well, for the next 2 days, Shell and I will be right outside Nintendo New York, so we'll be streaming until Thursday.
Yeah.
I wish I could join. I wish I'd be out there with you guys.
Yeah, it's a hoot. I'll tell you that.
Exceptions like Doom and stuff like that. The Switch 2, I actually got to play this thing at the Switch 2 experience. Y'all are not
Lucky.
playing for games like Cyberpunk and Mario Kart World. They look absolutely phenomenal.
I gotta spend time tomorrow figuring out what I'm doing for that first week of content too.
Yes.
Oh, I'm just immediately gonna do playing Welcome Tour so you don't have to.
Honestly, the best thing I got from the experience was the backpack. The backpack that they gave out with the Switch 2 logo
nice.
on it it has become extremely practical for me.
I hope they give those out to the people waiting in line.
That's far.
Yeah.
I have to imagine they would. That seems like something they would do.
The thing is, the shirt I wore at this panel, I got that from Nintendo New York for the Switch 1 midnight launch.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like
Yeah.
I gave away a shirt that they gave me because it was too small.
Oh, whoops.
Oh, the
that was
question-
supposed to be smaller than that. That's okay.
Yep.
For those who came in a little later, we gave a QR code near the beginning of the panel for people to send in questions, so we have those collected.
Yes, on my phone, I promise.
Also, this was like probably the most like innovative thing that we did for this panel.
For the record,
to cut down on the cringe Q&A stuff, because like I feel like I've had my fill of those during PAX.
yes.
The whole time. I
So-
tricked you all.
I think that was your idea, Max. Or was it Max or Azran?
I believe that was my idea. Yeah.
No, that was definitely a smart call for
Also-
sure.
Yeah.
I get really self-conscious when I'm like on my phone because I didn't want to look like I was like not interested in the panel or whatever, which is why I was like, no, don't worry, I wasn't being rude. I was trying to read the questions.
Read the questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Least favorite Switch game.
This was one of the best questions because the fact that we
That was a
got
good
we,
question,
again,
yeah.
the fact that we brought up Room in the Night Sky and not Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is hilarious.
Also, microtransactions and stuff, it just didn't hit me that much.
It was so funny. I had like 2 answers and I could not remember by the time I'd finished what my other answer was.
Yeah.
I had a friend that wanted me to play Room in the Night Sky.
And everyone knew what that game was.
I need Shad to watch this.
It was so cool.
I love how you added the icons of the games on the bottom. That
Yes.
is-
Yeah.
Yes. Thank
It
you for
was
that.
I didn't have the we didn't have the slides to work with. I'm like, I got to put something on here so that there's a little bit of a visual anchor.
Yep.
Yeah.
The one Switch game that I have ever traded in is Sonic Forces.
I remember.
Probably not the worst game on this list.
I saw
but
Kyle
out of
Gamer
what I
like
played,
just not being
It's pretty
happy.
bad.
I was also we were pointing to the Sonic cosplay that was in the crowd.
That too. Yes.
I'm like, sorry, Sonic.
Hey, Dragon.
Such a polarized anniversary between Sonic Mania and Sonic Forces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just cannot. Let me just paint a picture for you. I have 50 hours of Mario Tennis Aces. I have 25 in Mario
Oh,
Golf.
yes. I know where
have
this is going.
5 in Mario Strikers Battle League. That game is
Yeah.
not good.
Our Suckers Battle League.
I am proud of myself for coming up with that. Oh, he
I have a hard time narrowing down one. I can give you two. The first one being
No idea what the second one was anymore.
Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Oh, really?
See, I was like perplexed. I'm like, really?
surprised.
Yeah.
I think part of it wound up for me being like I played Tropical Freeze right after. Was like, oh, this
Right.
feels so nice.
Right. You jumped from that to you went backwards basically.
I will say I'm very happy that I came up with that like story of like I have 50 hours in Aces, 25 in Super Rush, and 5 in Battle League. I thought that was a good illustration of like, man, I do not like this game
Oh
at
yeah.
all.
Oh yeah. Like
I don't like it so much I forgot about it when I was trying to name mine.
I would even say that's more damning, to be honest with you.
like I stood by my answer, but yeah, Battle League was a huge regret.
The ones you got when
And yes, 1-2 Switch and its sequel are both better.
this
Oh yeah.
I apologize if that was on video immediately.
Pretty cool question,
That is
but
me.
This was a great question, yeah.
but it's like
Getting the Switch on the table.
you would think mine was OLED because of the Joy-Cons, but it wasn't.
Built printed on it. I got from E3.
Well, because they sold the white Joy-Con separately, correct?
No, they did not.
No.
Or maybe
Oh.
maybe in Japan they did, but they were gifts.
Those are the Tears of the Kingdoms one, weren't they?
The 2.0.
Oh yeah.
No, I don't think they sold the one because Tears of the Kingdom one separately.
Overheating issues, so I traded it into a GameStop and transferred everything over. And this is not an OLED, but a friend of mine gave me the white Joy-Cons for my birthday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. You answered my question for me in the past.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I brought two
birthday gift,
Switches
yep.
to PAX, so I can comment on the fact that if I had one on the table, it'd be my OLED. However, I refuse
Yeah, we all just-
to get rid of my launch model Switch purely because it's the one compatible with Nintendo Labo.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all just happened to have our Switches on us at the time.
It's an OLED.
I put mine out there, and I mean,
That was
it was
a really good move, Silver.
that, it was a spur of the moment thing that I just did.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
The launch day Switch I mentioned is currently plugged in and on actually on my TV.
It's mine's my bag currently because I still got to get out.
Yeah.
I just really love this question. So whoever
But I
Both to PAX because one was for playing and one was for running the Labo challenges.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
second.
great question.
Very good question. I've personally decided to retire my Switch One. You know, it's given me a lot of great years. It still is useful, honestly. But personally, I'd rather give it like a nice, good place on the shelf in its dock. Transfer myself to the Switch 2.
Yeah.
There are some things that are still a little bit wrong with it. It takes time to boot up. All the fan parts right here kind of like busted up over time due to overheating. I don't like the kickstand very much, really. But it's done.
I feel like especially people who got the OLED really forgot how awful that kickstand
the
is.
kickstand,
Yeah.
it was interesting, but like over time, it just was like, eh.
After I got my Switch 2,
Just don't think
have a
it
carrying
worked.
case.
Oh, and there's where that curtain.
The Kirby walked in.
Oh, yeah, the
You see it in
Kirby.
eyes.
I could not stop laughing, and I had to.
right.
I had to physically try and not look at that Kirby cosplayer because I could not get over myself.
I was like, what? I was like, what the hell
Yeah,
is going on here?
that Kirby came in at like towards the end, like when we were doing this
My
Q&A.
original launch Switch is actually I
Like,
gave it to
this
my
is-
brother, so I immediately don't.
But yeah, the Kirby cosplayer, like it was actually a big costume for the
Like
record.
I was saying,
a big costume.
if that person
I
happens
think I
to
took a
watch
picture of
this
him.
video, that is. I apologize if that came across the wrong way, but genuinely, I could not stop laughing. I tried so hard, but it just the way that you walked in with the giant costume, it just I don't know, something about it just.
Like imagine like a huge Kirby just walks on in here.
It's like the Kirby.
Yeah.
It's like Kirby just exuded life of the party energy.
I was so if you're watching my stream, there's a picture of the Kirby.
All right, so we have another question. So I think we have time for like one or two more. So let's do this one. What?
Yeah, I'm not gonna bring my Switch anymore. Switch 2 is my replacement.
You want to return that is not returned yet on the Switch.
Star Fox.
Yep.
Yeah, one of my main answers is also
He also said Star Fox.
I did not.
I did not either.
Well, a lot of people say Kid Icarus, like you got, like that was actually my answer, but I'm actually gonna go with a different answer. To be honest with you, I would like to see Nintendo go back in time and bring back Earthbound.
Yeah.
Because I feel
Always a crowd pleaser.
go for remakes of all three games.
One day, Mother 3 will be free.
Yes.
One day.
I support every answer I've heard, including the audience's. But me, I'm just waiting for level 5 to finish the Professor Layton game that they say they're making. So that can.
Oh yeah, the New World of Steam.
I already got
Yep.
my other dream with Rhythm.
I'm just waiting.
Most of the volume is doing phenomenally well though.
I'm just waiting for the one person in the chat to come in and say, "What about Star Tropics?"
always answer that to a question like this, but another answer I really, really want to see is Mario Baseball.
Yes, Mario Baseball.
That is my favorite Mario sports game, and I am so sad that we have not seen one since the Wii.
There was rumors,
Ask
but
Oscar.
Strikers, and it wasn't good, but still, we have Mario.
See, if that direct had not happened, like Rhythm would have been my answer.
yeah,
I mean, Star Fox was kind of my main answer. Not even as someone who's played a lot of it, but who's played enough.
That was a good move, Rick. Putting Star Fox 3 times. That was great.
yeah, Advance Wars. Like, it's time for a new Advance Wars game.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we have under a minute, so we're gonna have to do this one pretty rapid fire. But I would say a good final one to do, and let's just make this like a quick answer. Is what is your favorite Switch game that's under $10?
Comico.
Favorites of the $10?
I legit could not think of one.
I probably shouldn't have done this question last. That's my fault.
That's fine.
Evil Land 1 and 2 is.
Oh yeah,
that's
Evil
a good
Land. Yes, I saw them do the second.
I didn't.
Such good games.
I didn't want to
They
say
really
this
are
during the
good.
panel, but I also played Evoland, and I don't know, it just didn't agree with me.
The first one or the second one?
The first one is a little
Second one
rougher.
especially, it just dragged on for far too long.
It does take a while to get going.
Yeah,
And it does start to drag a lot near the end too. The middle is pretty
Before
tight,
chat
but
says
yeah.
anything, I know that Luminous is at least $15 unless it's on sale. I qualified my answer.
I forget, did I say just any Arcade Archives game?
You did, yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
I grabbed the
I was
one
gonna
that
say, I
had
don't
the
remember
highest
mentioning
rating out of
Bubble
an area
Bobble
that I was looking at.
specifically, but
yeah.
that works.
The highest rating being Bubble Bobble.
Thank you all for coming.
comment through.
Yeah.
Everyone else said one game. I mentioned 300 at once.
For me-
or however many it is.
Like-
Oh wait, I just found one. I should have said a short hike.
Oh yeah, short hike, right?
Oh yeah.
The Switch.
Yeah.
Viva the Rambo.
Well,
And there we go. That's
Yeah.
that's it.
that was it. Like that was fun. Well,
That was great.
I'm gonna make sure to put this up on YouTube tonight. And tomorrow I'm gonna premiere it tomorrow on YouTube as well because all right, let me at least close this and switch over to the just chatting scene right here for a minute. But yeah, so my thing is this with this panel. So we got some time before because the Mario Kart DS thing doesn't start till 9. So
Yeah.
so what were some things that you guys originally would have suggested to be a part of this panel that in terms of like topics that didn't make it in?
I've said it a bunch before, but I really do wish we had a panel on Super Smash Bros. Or not a panel, a slide on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yeah.
I really think that is like one of the greatest video games of all time.
Yeah.
Just for the sheer fact that it had that many characters and IPs in a crossover. We will never see something like that again. And
Yeah.
I think that is a monumental feat that is worthy of praise, even if you don't like the game.
Yes.
The sheer magnitude of it is incredible. And honestly, one of the things that the DLC did really well, I think I commented on this during like a recent Smash stream that I was doing with Brawl, but most Smash fighters, like everyone's got their own movesets and things, but they all function in pretty similar ways for the most part. There's a few exceptions here and there, like Yoshi has some slightly different, his up B doesn't really work the same as others, and Mega Man kind of has his physical and special attack style moves kind of reversed a little bit, and like little things like that. But then you get to the DLC where there was a pretty big emphasis in there on third-party fighting characters, and the resurgence of like different play styles altogether in there, where you wind up with like Ryu and Ken, who have a few like actual Street Fighter combos in there. You get Terry, who's got some, what is that? Fatal Fury?
Yeah, Fatal Fury.
Has a couple like mechanical pieces from that in there too. And like they got really like referential, not just in like the characters and their moves, but like how you use them in the first place. The hero from Dragon Quest having a literal spell menu to choose from, like really interesting, intricate stuff that you literally would not get with any other fighting franchise at all.
Yep.
The Smash team also just knows how to make these characters like feel like they were lifted from their games in such a respectful way. It's both the magnitude and the quality. Because like, yeah, there's a lot of crossovers in Fortnite or whatever, but I honestly feel like it feels a little slapdash a lot of the time. Smash, you can tell that they put attention to detail in it, and it is wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah, these aren't just skins. These are
stages to have Minecraft blocks.
Yeah, that must have taken actually a pretty significant amount of effort to do, because they had so many arenas already at that point. It's like, okay, we have to now make all of this make sense in that framework so that we can release one fighter.
Yeah.
Like, that's
the
a
Super
ton of
Smash
legwork
Bros.
for it.
team. The Super Smash Bros. Team looking at Kirby again after every single DLC fighter gets added, and just insert a picture of horror.
Hey, now Kirby has a gun.
Yes, that is true. Thanks, Joker.
I'm gonna post this.
job.
I'm gonna post this image again because I just think this is funny. Like when we were just checking out like the actual footage, and then all of a sudden there was the Rick jump scare.
Oh yeah. I'll have to.
yeah.
I'll have to. I'll just share the very last frame of the very last frame of the video. It's just me looking like right in at the last second.
Yeah.
For those watching.
In terms of other things that I actually wanted to add, one thing I wanted to add that would have followed up from after the talk about like the educational and like the developmental stuff with the Labo and the Game Builder Garage, I would have also had a slide specifically for Ring Fit, and I don't know why I didn't do it, but because Ring Fit was very successful on the Switch, but not only that, but a lot of people actually did use it for their workout routines, and while not exactly published by Nintendo, we also had the fitness boxing games. Oh no, they weren't published by Nintendo, but they weren't developed by
Published,
Nintendo.
yes, not me.
They were published in North America and PAL regions.
Yes, but they were popular because people actually did use them for the workout routines as well. But a lot of people, the favorite ones being like the Hatsune Miku and the Fist of the North Star ones.
Well, for about 3 years, the most episodes we ever had for a single series on our channel was me through most of 2020 playing Ring Fit Adventure like 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah.
It would literally, I would get up and do that before work, and then I would put the video up as like kind of a, hey, I could do with losing some weight, and this game seems pretty cool. Let's see if we can. And the results were actually pretty decent. They weren't like life-changing, but it was still like, okay, I could see how doing this and not worrying about like cameras and all that shit and doing it for an even longer term could be like a really positive, actually life-changing amount of like help in that sort of thing. And I think especially it came out, they obviously didn't know at the time. It came out, the end of 2019, start of 2020, before the pandemic. And once the pandemic came out, people were like, I need something to do while I'm at home. And Ring Fit Adventure wound up being like perfect to kind of slot in for that.
Man, between Animal Crossing New Horizons and Ring Fit Adventure, Nintendo released like a 1-2 punch of the perfect pandemic games. That is some luck right there.
Yes.
I also want to ask, by the
was
way,
the 1-2 punch.
That's true. Do we know if the Ring Fit Adventure team was the same as the Wii Fit team? Because it feels like it is a lot of the same mechanics.
I would have to imagine so, but I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can
I
find
might look that
out.
up later. Or if anyone in the chat knows, if any of the chats, let me know.
Like, so another thing I want to bring up was that there was also an absence on a certain series, mainly because while it's always been a popular series, but in the Switch gen, it was very polarizing for one reason or another, and that series being Pokemon. Because while yes, we had Pokemon Legends Arceus, that one was extremely well received. Unfortunately, there was a lot of controversy going in with Pokemon Sword and Shield, mainly because of the whole bring back the National Dex thing.
Yep. Exit.
And then
I was very vocal about it at the time. I've cooled off considerably now, but
and that
it just was such a bummer for them to be like, we're bringing this from the handheld finally to the consoles properly. And like you would assume that would come with like everything is bigger and huger and more everything, and then there's that caveat that comes with it, and it's just kind of like, ooh, it just like it felt a little bit rough to have them be like, by the way, half of these Pokemon aren't actually going to be usable at all. And I was like, oh.
I like how you said bigger and huger, and then we got that.
Oh yeah, right.
And then it's like from between that and
thank you, C2.
And then it's between that and then like when Pokemon Scarlet and Violet came out, and then like because the sad thing is that game is amazing in terms of the Pokemon that they had. I really like the story. I really like a lot of the new characters. I love the setting, the music. A lot of the challenges were really great. It could have potentially have been my favorite Pokemon game in the series if it wasn't for all the performance issues, which completely inexcusable with how they handle it. But thankfully now on Switch 2, if you're playing Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, from what I'm seeing, everything looks to be running smoothly. It's 60 frames now. And everything else seems to be working the way that it was actually supposed to.
Right. I'm gonna check real quick. I gotta we have to Wii Fit because since what you asked. So Hiroshi Matsunaga has been director of every single Wii Fit game and also Ring Fit Adventure.
Yep.
I rest my case.
Yeah.
Ring Fit was a great showcase for tabletop mode, in my opinion. Because I never used tabletop mode a lot. It was mostly docked or handheld for me. But Ring Fit was an example where, okay, I need to see what's going on in the game, but I want to work while I listen to something or we'll put something on the TV. So I pull it out of the dock. I use the nice OLED kickstand, and there you go.
Yep.
Wait, I think I've ever seen this, Rick. Charmeleon. I think I've ever seen that video.
Oh man,
Charmeleon. Long pause.
The most perfect accidental comedic timing with all of that. It was beautiful.
Yep.
And then it's all downhill from here.
It's all downhill. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. But yeah, like that's the thing. Pokemon was kind of like
In a weird spot back then.
yeah, like this generation, like because Scarlet and Violet to me is a better game than Sword and Shield. I just think that
for sure.
I just think the performance issues are what hurt it. But hopefully that people are going to go back to playing Sword and Shield, not Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet. And now that with the performance issues are seemingly fixed on Switch 2, hopefully that people will be a lot more fonder to this game. That they look a lot more fondly, compared to Sword and Shield, or especially compared to how Scarlet and Violet were on Switch.
No, absolutely. Like I feel like from what I've seen from Nintendo today, I'm like, wow, like it does entice me to go back to play and finish, Scarlet, because I have Pokemon Scarlet, to go back and finish, because like I think like looking back, like it was the performance that really was a turn off. Like I remember like they were trying to do this like kind of like Breath of the Wild like pan to the Vista moment. I'm like, it was not hitting me the same way that they thought they were doing it, because like it was choppy and the textures weren't loading, and I'm like, guys, like guys, what are you doing? Like this isn't it here.
If
Like,
you're gonna do one of those Vista shots, it has to look good.
It has to look good, and it just looked like crap.
It really did, yes. Another thing,
I also think the gyms not scaling was kind of a misstep. Like, hey, big open world, go where you want to go, except, oh, wait a minute, that gym's going to be level 50 no matter what you do, so you might as well save it for later.
It does seem trivial to be like, okay, this gym, we're going to have 8 different teams coded in, and depending on the number of badges, you'll get a different thing. It's like, okay, not hard to add essentially 50 trainers or so's worth of extra, data in this thing, but
yeah. So yeah, it's like the best Pokemon game that was made by Game Freak this generation on Switch is Legends Arceus. Easily the best.
100%. Easily.
We'll see how Legends ZA is once it comes out. But it's like the only other thing that I've actually considered adding to the panel, but decided against it, mainly because of timing, and also like I figured that maybe like it would be redundant to actually like bring it up. I've actually wanted to know like going into the whole thing where we were talking about like taking the active franchises to the next level. It's basically just adding an additional slide where it would have had more games. Like that's where like Wonder probably would have been. That's where like a couple of other like first party Nintendo games that have like completely evolved from like previous games. Because the thing is, when we talked about Wonder, like the thing is this, that people were tired and had the fatigue of the New Super Mario Brothers games for years, because the problem was on New Super Mario Brothers 2 and New Super Mario Bros. U came out like very close to each other, and they weren't like, there were some differences, but there were people who were starting to feel fatigued because it's like playing one after the other. But then like
it starts feeling like level packs after a while. Like if you played Mario 3, one of the best games of all time, hell yeah, awesome. But then over the next like 4-ish years, you got 3 more Mario 3s. It does start to lose a little bit of its luster when you're like, okay, but I've done this already. I've done basically all of this. It's just been different levels, but it's been done. And like there wasn't really, in my opinion, enough innovation in the New Super Mario Brothers series of games, even aside from like they all looked. If you showed someone a screenshot from one of those games, they may have like a 50% chance of guessing correctly which of the 4 that it's from.
Yeah,
or 5.
5. New Super Luigi.
Yeah.
So like it's nice to put a fresh coat of paint on there. I feel the same that I do about New Super Mario Brothers in terms of its just blurring togetherness as I do for like the visual appeal of Donkey Kong in his Rareware form in the 2010s.
Yeah.
Something about I love the Rareware design, but they were trying to make him do more stuff and be more expressive, and like that model was just, it's too plastic and wooden in my opinion to really do what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
I actually would like to bring up
I was it still goes off of like what they made on those Silicon Graphics like workstations from years ago. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they were limited.
I actually would like to bring up two examples of games that I feel like were trying to innovate in the same way that Mario Odyssey did, but kind of just did not work. Well, actually, one game that really didn't work and one game that I consider a lateral move. The one game that really didn't work was Yoshi's Crafted World. I don't really know what happened there, but I just didn't really like that game at all. Especially 100%ing, that was miserable. The fact that they expected you to play each level 5 times is insane. No game should require that. And honestly, the levels themselves were not that great. I mean, the visuals were really phenomenal, but really playing it, I don't know. I just didn't think it really innovated that much.
I think Woolly World still clears it.
Oh yeah, Woolly World is an excellent game. I really enjoyed that. Those levels were very creative and it felt fun to play.
Yeah.
Also, you didn't have to play each level 5 times. That's definitely a plus.
Right.
I would also say this is sort of a lateral move. Nintendo Switch Sports. I didn't dislike that game as much as other people did. I thought that it had some really cool ideas. I did like Chambara quite a lot. Its return from Wii Sports Resort was quite welcome. I just think there needed to be a little more single player content, honestly. There wasn't a ton in Wii Sports, granted, but it was a lot more excusable when it's a pack-in title versus a full-priced game.
Yeah.
Because Wii Sports Club did not sell that well.
Yeah, Wii Sports Club was
single player
not a
was-
good idea.
I don't think single player was really the breaker of that game, but I think there were certain odd restrictions on what you could do online multiplayer, and that's like the game's main focus. So like, sure, I like playing the new soccer game that they've got in there quite a bit, but when I try and connect with friends around it, it's like, no, you can't do a 4v4 soccer match because you can only let 4 people in the lobby.
Also, I don't know if it was just me, but golf just did not work in that game. For whatever reason, the controls felt very imprecise, and I couldn't play it.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's no option to just bowl. You go into bowling, you have to do survival, which means if you're not cutting the first few frames, then you're out, which is a great option because maybe you don't want to play the full frame if you're losing that bad. But
also the motion of bowling, they changed it from Wii Sports where like usually when you pull back and go forward, you'd have to like I think you had to let go of the button or like just like press it forward, or you have to hold on. I think you have to hold on to it the entire time.
There's the B button that you
Yeah.
like let go near the front to release.
It's more to avoid like another case of like people throwing shit into their TVs like like because like don't
Yeah.
Also one thing I wanted to bring is like I wanted to like put this into the panel, but I didn't find a way to pepper it in some way. I was gonna ask the audience how many million sellers are there on Switch from I guess like Nintendo related.
Ooh.
Like
a poll? That would have been really cool.
Yeah. Do you guys want to guess the number?
How many just games in general or Nintendo developed or?
I said Nintendo developed just to be safe.
25?
No, way more, buddy. Millions.
Million sellers? No, way more.
I actually do know the number of million sellers.
I'll say 41.
It's over 70.
81.
Oh my God.
I know the number of million sellers off the top of my head because I was literally looking at this Wikipedia page right before this podcast. So I know it's 102 because I literally looked at it not even an hour ago.
Yeah, 102 like when you include like third party, but like when it comes to like Nintendo stuff, it's 81.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah. No, it is nuts. Like literally like almost like anything Nintendo threw there. Engage, Mario Kart Live, Miitopia, Get It Together, like Astral Chain, Big Brain Academy, like they sold at least 1 million.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It is nutty. Like to say that it was a renaissance is like really understandable because like it sold gangbusters.
Yeah.
Like and like the top 5 basically like it's 68 million, 42 million, 36 million, 32 million, 29 million, and that's 8 Deluxe, Animal Crossing, Smash Brothers, Breath of the Wild, and Odyssey.
Yep.
I was gonna say I thought I remembered seeing on the latest like financial reports they put out every quarter. I think that they just crossed 500 million games sold for the console.
For like software sales, yeah.
Yeah, just outrageously huge number.
Like
I would like to do a section on like games that should have sold better, because then I could have done a Sushi Striker rant, because people don't enjoy Sushi Striker enough.
Absolutely. Like I think it's one game where I did get it like around launch, but I still have not played it. I've only played the demo of it, and also I remember playing the 3DS version at Nintendo New York because they had a demo for it.
Yep.
Like, man, like again, like they threw a lot of stuff at that, and it just sold. Like, yeah, it really is. It had the install base. It sold like crazy.
Yeah, exactly. People will just buy like anything like after so many years. Because the thing is that like when you look at the Wii, like the Wii did very well, but the problem is that the software attach rate for a lot of Nintendo's games weren't anywhere near as high as the ones that were on Switch. Like, yeah,
Right.
like there were some games like Wii Sports was a pack-in title for pretty much everywhere except in Japan.
Right.
But
Like,
this, go ahead.
The DS held the record for like software sale. It was like 940 million. The Switch is 1.3 billion.
Yes.
Jeez. Is it the second best-selling console of all time yet, or is it still losing to the DS? And the PS2?
It's still behind the DS because the DS
so
is
it's
4 million.
Third in that case?
It's third.
It's third right now. It will. I'm just gonna say it. Like, it will be number 2 by the end of this year.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to stop selling Switch ones. It's not going to be. It's not just going to stop altogether. Especially with they've still got major titles coming out like Pokemon Legends ZA, Metroid Prime 4, Rhythm Heaven, Tamagotchi Life. Like there's Tomodachi Life. There's still a lot of life left in it.
Yeah,
I think that it still has a real chance of crossing the PS4. PS2.
Just don't tell them. Don't have somebody shut the couch for more units sold. It's like when they dropped that, we sold 160 million. I'm like, you bullshitters.
Yeah,
you know exactly what you're doing.
Because the last time they updated those numbers was after the PS2 was discontinued. So it's like, where are these magical 5 million coming from?
I have no idea. But what I think is
discounted, clearly.
Yeah. Now,
I think that was their argument, that they had gone back through and checked the books, and it's like, okay, sure.
Real quick,
if they do it again, then they're just doing that.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, Max, do you still have the list of like questions from the Q&A?
Yeah, I can pull that up from the Google form. I know. We after the panel, we all went to dinner, and I read a lot of those panels, but a lot of those questions. But I can pull them up again.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah, like the only thing I'll say about that dinner was I'm never having jalapeno peppers ever again.
Oh man,
I felt bad,
so bad, man.
That like, because I thought you knew, but then you took the bite, and like it went like this.
I did not realize.
I wasn't sure.
Fun fact, by the way.
I got him up. Do you want me to read like certain questions, or like what do?
Before you do, what were you gonna say, Rick?
I was gonna say we had that slide about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with the 67.95. Was that the number?
It got outdated.
Is it past 70 now?
It's close.
No, it's still under. It's like 68.
Yeah,
million.
It's just a slight increase.
So 68 million units sold. It means that it outsold the NES as a console.
It did.
Like, it sold more games than that sold systems.
Wild. What?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's I'm looking at the official thing. Yeah, that is correct.
It was loaded nachos, Derek.
Yeah, loaded nachos that had jalapenos in them.
Yeah.
And then I'm still also laughing because my taquitos came in, but they looked like churros from a distance. And Asmer was like, "What the hell is this?" I'm like, "Those are churro bites." I'm like, they looked like cannolis. I'm like, whatever. I'm like, oh wait, those are taquitos. They pass them over.
Yep.
Because the queso fresco, like whatever, it looks like freaking like powdered sugar on it.
It did.
Or ricotta.
Yeah, or ricotta. Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, like regarding the questions, Max, you ready for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's focus mainly on the questions that didn't get answered.
Sure, I can read some of those again. I know we already answered them, but I can do that again. Let's see. Some good ones. Oh, I really wish we answered this one. Opinions about Nintendo Switch Online.
Okay, so Nintendo Switch Online, in terms of opinions, all right, I can answer this one real quick. It at first, like when it came out, I remember people were not happy with the price. Like it was $20 a year, and it's just people because for so long when it comes to online gaming with Nintendo that they had everything for free, and it was where like it started on the Switch where it was paid. Granted, they had a free trial that lasted for over a year and a half because they weren't ready to launch the full service just yet. We had to wait until 2018 to do it. So at first it was one of those things where like, yeah, it could have been better. Now it's definitely like the best value like out of like all the big three right now.
No, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Like right now, like it seems like as if like NSO like it did start off rough. Like I remember from the Nintendo NY like Switch presentation, like it was the thing I remember that got booed at the at the World viewing, and it took some time to really get somewhere because like the selection was just very slim. Initially, they were doing it on a weekly basis. Like the benefits hadn't really stacked up as yet, but in time it's gotten to become a very formidable service, and now I think like me, Pete, and a couple of friends are on our family plan, so we paid like a good amount of money, together as like a group rather than singing it solo. So it's basically been a really phenomenal deal for us to have like NSO expansion pack plus.
Yep, and I'm the dad of the family plan.
Yeah, it is.
I really wanted to mention this during the panel.
Yep. Oh, what happened, Max?
I didn't get to mention this during the panel, but I really wanted to. But something that I just do is I actually have beaten every Nintendo Switch Online game. And
Nice.
the reason I do that is because, and basically whenever a new one gets added, I just beat it. And the reason I do that is because I think it has given me a perspective on like retro games that I never would have gotten otherwise. I've experienced so many new things in general, and I got introduced to so many new franchises, found so many new favorites in a way that I don't think I would have gotten through like Virtual Console, for example. And I agree, it was pretty bad when it launched, and the drip feed was annoying. But the fact that they dropped games, like once a month, basically, is actually what allows me to do this. That is the only reason I can beat all these games is because I have a substantial amount of time in between them. So maybe my perspective is a little bit different, but I didn't hate the drip feed necessarily just because it allowed me to play every Switch Online game.
Yeah.
That being said, I wish the initial offering was larger. However, that doesn't really matter now because holy crap, the amount of games on Switch Online is insane.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's bigger than Virtual Console, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
It's getting up there, I'd say.
It's getting up
I
there.
think it's starting to outpace it. Like there's still some missing ones, but like it's starting to reach that point now.
Yep.
Considering we're getting GameCube, which wasn't on Virtual Console, I definitely think by the end of the Switch 2, we're going to have orders of magnitude more games than the Switch than Virtual Console had.
Right. It would definitely surpass in time.
The one like bummer that kind of stuck out to me was that like so we got especially what's now the Nintendo Classics, which there's like we're all talking about, there's a ton of options on there, tons you can play, but it also was the second time in 2 consecutive generations that they were stepping away from their previous like format for bringing back classic titles, because you had the Wii Virtual Console, like we're talking about, huge, tons of options, tons of stuff, and then you kind of had a little bit like Wii U sort of had the Virtual Console, sort of had eShop offerings, and it was like kind of floating in between a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
And then now we jump over the Switch and we've got Nintendo Classics, and like the lack of like a way to transfer some of that stuff over, especially for the Wii Virtual Console, you were spending money on points to buy those games. So those are individual purchases that you don't get to keep anymore. And it's just like, it's kind of a bummer that they never figured out some kind of, even if it's like hell, $1 a game to be able to transfer as many compatible ones as possible over to the Wii U or over to the Switch or something. I'm sure there's like architectural reasons in the consoles for why that would have been a big deal, but it was just kind of a bummer that they don't have like the Wii U had the Wii menu option to kind of help emulate the stuff that the Wii used to be able to do. And yeah, I don't know. It just like there were so many games on there, and anytime you spend money on stuff and it suddenly just stops functioning the way that it had been, it's just kind of like man, really?
Yeah.
So,
That's a totally fair criticism. I will say that I'm very thankful that we are not starting over with the Switch 2.
Yes.
Keep going.
Yeah, big time.
Thank God.
Yeah.
We're just
That
only
is very
really,
convenient.
it's going to continue. We're just only adding to it with the GameCube. And
They got a lot of GameCube games to go through, so I'm definitely not concerned about that.
And
I
then
also
also-
want to mention,
but
and this is a more recent addition, but I'm very glad they started offering DLC through Nintendo Switch Online as well. Launching that with the Booster Course Pass was a very, very smart move.
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Taking a page from
then-
Sony's book on that, they used to part of the reason the PS3 did as well as it ultimately did was because at the time it was the cheapest Blu-ray player you could get, and Sony were the ones producing Blu-ray discs and Blu-ray movies, so they wound up like just tightly coiling all this stuff around itself as like, okay, we want you to buy our new awesome super high def movies, and we happen to be selling the easiest way to watch them as a video game console if it interests you.
Yeah.
So shrewd marketing on their part, and Nintendo I think got wise to the idea of kind of synergizing their stuff together like that.
Yes.
Right.
Also, Nintendo Music. Nintendo Music rules. I really like it.
Yeah.
but okay, look now.
Oh.
I know that you're like the drip feed isn't that bad, especially when you're actually doing everything on the service, but like Nintendo
That's true.
Music is the one that should not be drip feeding as slow as it is.
That I completely agree with you. That there's no excuse for that.
Again, I only hope that like it's probably not gonna happen. But like it would have been awesome if like they're like, hey, the day Market Road drops, drop the whole soundtrack with it. Like I would have like loved to have like some of those remixes like on like Nintendo Music app like immediately.
Yeah.
But like the drip feed is interesting, but like it's just sometimes like it's gonna be fun. Sometimes it's just like, hey, here's an NES game with like 24 minutes of music. Here you go. See you next week. I'm like, that's it.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
want
The weeks
those.
where we
I
get
do
like an
want
NES
those, but-
game are very disappointing. Like Super Mario. Like I love the Super Mario Bros. 2 soundtrack, but it's like, all right, this soundtrack is like 12 minutes long.
When they dropped Kid Icarus, I'm like, uprising, please. Like,
Yes.
not a great soundtrack. Like,
And
oh my god.
I know they're going to upload the update the next one in a few minutes, but yeah.
Yeah, right. It's almost time.
I would say like let's do one more question before we wrap it up, because Mario Kart DS thing is going to start for me soon, and Rick as well.
Yeah.
But we'll
Right.
do one more. Let's talk about the one that we would have shut that down the moment that we saw that question.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Let's talk
boy.
about that one.
All right, so I should preface the reason why I wanted to do this QR code thing was because at multiple panels now I have seen people ask questions that I don't want to say are inappropriate, but like shouldn't.
Some of them
really
are.
have been asked
Some of them
at that
are.
time. Some of them are inappropriate. I agree. In this case, I just think it wasn't really the right time or place to ask it. So because we had the QR code, we could just simply not read the question, which was very convenient. In this case, the question was thoughts on emulators like Cemu, Dolphin, and Pretendo, which I did not want to answer that question at a panel. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Pretendo
Right.
even count as an emulator?
No, it's more of like it's not more of an alternate error, but I'm pretty sure they.
And that's another reason
Emulated
why I didn't want to
service, you could
answer that
argue, but-
question, was because
Yeah.
the way that question was phrased, I'll read the exact words. Thoughts on emulators like Cemu and Dolphin, 2 question marks. What about Pretendo? And it did make Pretendo sound like an emulator, even though it is not.
It's not.
So that alone made me think, all right, definitely not asking this question. No offense to the person who asked it, but just maybe don't ask about emulators like that at a video game console panel.
And
Like, I'm happy to kind of cut through the bullshit on the emulator discussion in terms of like, so what was the name of the Switch emulator that got shut down that was paired with Citra?
Yuzu.
Yeah. So me personally, I don't have any problem with emulation in general. I don't think most people generally do. And emulation itself, like console emulation, is completely legal. So long as, all of that. The problem for them wound up being aside from it's enough of a gray area with how it's handled already on the internet. The problem was on the Discord of these developers, they were disseminating ROMs amongst like everybody basically in some cases before games launched, which like I understand if you're developing an emulator, you're probably looking for this stuff ahead of time because you're like, I need to make sure the emulator is compatible with all the stuff that's going on here. I get that. I don't have any issue with that. The problem becomes once you start spreading those links around, that's where the problem comes in. And the second anybody finds out about that, your ass is cooked. Like,
right. I want to cut you off, but like my issue.
Oh, no, go for it.
My issue really was just that, like, my personal style when it comes to emulation is that, like, and anything that's like before a certain point in time, you know, is open season. Like, you know, GameCube, N64, backwards. You know, I've been open more to doing Wii. I haven't done Wii U yet, whatever. But it always felt really weird that like we were like emulating for the Switch right as it was out. Like for me, I always felt like as like a retro activity of like something that's like before, you know, generations before. But like now it was like on like basically like same day, you know, like we're launching a game. It's on Yuzu, it's on Ryujin, and I'm like, does that not feel like, is this really truly emulation for emulation's sake, or is this just, you know, piracy? Like really and truly, because like some people were kind of like masking that under like essential, like, you know, the need to preserve games, which I think was honestly it's a terrible smoke, because like I do support game preservation, but I don't like it in the sense of like we're using it as a smokescreen for piracy of games, you know. And there were multiple subreddits on Reddit that were meant to facilitate piracy. There were like, and like I understand the need. Like my problem with my problem with it now has been just like just the weird justification that because we're running this on a quote unquote inferior system, we as the players deserve to run it on a better system, you know. So like it's always been like the entitlement and the arrogance that I just never gelled with, because I like like I was never like anti-user or anti-using. Like I like seeing like those progress reports. Like, I mean, I like reading the Dolphin progress reports, but the more I like dug into the community, the more it was just like a very spiteful kind of like, you know, very much like, oh, like, you know, don't be a simp to these corporations, you know, and like it never really just rung to me as like something that was like sincere at all. It just like it was just a smokescreen for pirating games. And the moment they got caught, you know, because they did float like close to sun, like Nintendo had the evidence to hit them dead to rights. Because remember when Tears of the Kingdom like leaked, Yuzu's like Patreon earnings went up significantly on like they directly profited from that leak, and that's what got the max. Like they flew incredibly close to the sun, and people thought that they weren't going to get burned by it, because they're like, I feel like the thing is like,
haven't gotten caught yet, and it's like
I'm gonna like poking the bear, because like emulation's been great for years and years since, you know, the days of Bleem and Connectix. Like why would you try to challenge that precedent and keep trying to poke the bear? And you know, like, because like at the end of the day, like you're gonna like ruin things for everyone else. And you're gonna like maybe and I'm saying like you could establish like new precedent with like, hey, maybe this can criminalize emulation in the future, you know. Like we should be able to like keep these things safe for us. Like you're gonna keep poking the bear and keep ruining things for everyone, because like clearly there are people who want to make sure that this is, you know, available for, you know, future generations to come. But if your guys is, oh, I don't want to play games on the Switch, I want to play it on a Steam Deck or on my PC, I don't think you should be playing those games.
Well, like it carries so much extra damage too, aside from the fact that shit like this is the reason that DRM is so pervasive and all over the place.
That's a great point.
But on top of that too, what makes it worse is when it's couched behind, and in my personal opinion, this is a subjective, you know, thought here, but like whenever someone, you know, winds up getting found out for like a large amount of piracy or whatever, and then follows it up with, oh, but this is, you want to preserve games, right? And it's like, I find that a little bit insulting as someone who really does work to try to preserve whatever I can find for games in one way or another, because like it just delegitimizes an already extremely difficult effort as is. Like the video game preservation stuff that's out there, a great example being Proto Dude and Rockman Corner and all of that like cluster of folks who have been working on preserving cell phone games out of Japan, a lot of Mega Man ones and some other ones as well. These are things that require a huge amount of effort to maintain and to get a hold of. And they're literally building emulators essentially, so these games that have been dead for 20 plus years are doable again. And like that I find to be a pretty noble effort, and it's a thankless job a lot of the time, and it's a ton of time and energy for not a huge amount of like return in terms of like, you know, I don't know if they have like you know, Patreon style stuff in terms of like supporting those movements, but then you have the other side where it's like, oh, here's a game that comes out in 2 weeks, want to play it now? And it's like putting that behind the shield of like, oh, we're doing good work, we're preserving a game because it might go away, and it's like that's not how this works.
Right.
I would like to give a shout out to Rockman Cosmo and everyone at Scilab Secrets. Y'all rule, and the work you're putting into preserving those mobile games is unbelievable. Great job, guys.
Yes,
Keep it up.
absolutely. All
We're gonna be playing the 2 network games at some point as a thanks to their tireless efforts.
Yep.
Have fun with them. I've beaten the first one. It is a lot more fun than you would think for a mobile game.
Yep.
Excellent.
So,
but again, can you see why I didn't want this question to be asked at the panel?
exactly.
Huge can of worms.
Huge can of worms
Yeah.
we do not want, and it would not be good because and also keep in mind that the person who asked that question, their username was the eyeballs.
They obfuscated the fact that they didn't want to be this, you know,
They
identified,
knew-
which I understand.
They knew exactly what they were doing.
It was a dynamite question that you know, throw dynamite, run away like that.
Yeah.
Like it was like a touchy subject as is, especially considering like recently enough, you know, regions got nailed too. So and
Yeah.
like, and of course the whole stuff with the Switch 2 and the EULA and everything, like it was just like a cluster of like just bad information and like just weird anti-Nintendo sentiment, if I could call it that, really.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
It's just a firestorm that we didn't want to be a part of.
Yeah, but
I highly encourage everyone who's hosting panels with Q&As, try the QR code method. It works a lot better than live Q&A, honestly.
100%. I'll leave it with one last thing regarding that before we wrap it up. If you're gonna get like you could be upset with companies having certain control over how they handle like their own EULA. But I'll say this real quick. If you're going to boycott the Switch 2 because of that, the EULA that they have, might as well do the same thing for PlayStation and Xbox consoles because they have the same fucking shit. And even Valve has it. Epic Game Store, they have that. So to single out Nintendo only for this shows that like, you know exactly where your priorities lie. Like you only just want to single out one company. You might as well have that same energy for all companies because you know that if you do that, if you choose to boycott all those companies, you're not going to have anything to play on. So, so just think about that.
Keep that same energy for all those other companies. I know Nintendo is a trading thing to hate right now, but like, it's right now it's just really phony.
Exactly. All right. So. With that out of the way, I just want to say that was an amazing panel that we did. If anybody's coming here now and haven't had a chance to watch it yet, it's going to be up on YouTube soon. I'm gonna start uploading it like right now, like after we're done with this, but like as I'm getting ready for the Mario Kart DS. But I want to say once again, Silver, Max, Rick, Asran, thank you so much for being a part of this panel. It means a whole lot to me that you guys have joined. This was the first panel that I've submitted on my own. I've been a guest on multiple panels, but this is the first time I've ever done it on my own. Again, thank you so much. I'm really glad to have all 4 of you here with me for this.
Thank you so much for having us.
You did a great job setting this all up, and this was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
This was like one of the highlights of PAX for me. Thanks again for having me on.
Yes.
It definitely added to my first PAX ever, and crazy thing that almost never happened.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Down to the wire, yeah.
Yeah.
Glad they realized what they'd be missing out on, or however it came to be.
Right.
Yep. All right. So.
All right.
I'm gonna get ready.
Yeah, I know. Like Rick and Shell are gonna have to break for their Mario Kart DS. I'm still gonna be on my side playing regulators. So we're gonna take a break all around here. So we'll disperse.
Yep.
Stick around for various games on all the sides here. So
all right. So
see you guys around.
All right. Take care, guys.
Later, everyone.
See ya.
Yep. All right. So I'm gonna go straight into the Mario Party Madness server.